Hello, kindred longevity lifestyle designers. This is Zach here with secretsoflongevity.com. So this is day number 15 of my bodybuilding program. It's the start of the third week, or rather actually it starts tomorrow technically, because in the first week I had that extra day I added in and it sort of bumps everything forward. I'll just focus on the day number. It's day number 15. It's a rest day for me today, and tomorrow I'm going to be starting the third week with the back at the day one of that week's program. And actually each day of the 5 days that I do exercise are fairly similar in terms of the body parts they're triggering right now, but they're switching up the exercises. And I'm sure in time, probably after the end of Foundation 1, which is, I believe, 12 weeks total, I'll be cycling onto a different sort of array of what body parts I train on which days. But right now that's a lot of high rep exercises, a lot of multiple large muscle groups using them at one time, or even within one workout. So for example, yesterday I did supersets of biceps, triceps, chest, and back, and then even a giant set, which is 3 exercises at once, or without taking a break between them, of the 3 different areas of the shoulder, so front, back, and the very back, or front side and the very back. And most days I actually do focus more on just 1 or 2 muscle groups, but this last day, yesterday, was a great workout for me. Felt really confident in there, felt like I got a lot out of it. And I'm actually not as sore as I have been, at least in the first week. This last week's been great. My recovery seems to have increased, and although I'm definitely sore the next day and the day after, it's not debilitating in the sense that if I did my legs, for instance, it's not impairing my ability to go up and down stairs, like it did actually just after the very first exercise I did, where it was a very large number of squats that I did all in one exercise. So I've been very happy with that. After last week's video, there was a few things coming up in the comments which I wanted to address and sort of base this video around. There were some people talking about the results I was getting with the weight just after the first week, and that by all means is a very valid thing to be aware of. And I'm actually only going to weigh myself once a month now, because I think it is a bit much to try and do that every week and try and track any progress there. It's more realistic to do it once a month, and there will actually be something a little more realistic in terms of any major weight gains if they occur, which I'm expecting them to occur, of course. However, I do want to also mention that 137, that weight that I started at the start of the program, was actually on the high side for me almost exclusively for the last 8-9 years. I've weighed 135 pounds right on the dot. I did say it shifted here and there, but it was actually, 135 was more the average, but even more lately in the past year or two, it has been 135 almost daily. There was a period, I think, 2 years ago where I got up to 140 when I was actually doing weightlifting. I first started getting to strength training. I was doing weightlifting, but then I abandoned that for more bodyweight training things, and I gained about, or I was hovering more around the 140 range. However, I did lose that due to something stressful that occurred in my life. I noticed within 2 days I lost 5 pounds of weight, or at least the average weight that I was hovering around over this extremely stressful event that occurred. So that's really, in my mind, brought to light the fact of how easy it is to lose muscle mass due to catabolism. And so the whole idea of bodybuilding is you want to maintain an anabolic state as much as you can, a high anabolic state, so that your body is building and building and building, and you're not doing too much tearing down. So things like stress that come from any source are going to be increasing cortisol, adrenaline in very severe cases, and these things catabolize the body in terms of breaking it down so that you have lots of energy to deal with this stressful situation. And it's a survival mechanism that the body has created, but it is something that one tries to avoid when they're trying to put on muscle mass, obviously. So other things that can increase cortisol levels and keep the cortisol levels up are obviously caffeine and stimulants, so that's something I'm avoiding, because even just like little bits of this here and there are going to be activating cortisol and increasing the burning of energy, so you're either going to need more calories, or your body's going to start tapping into the reserves of muscle tissue in the forms of proteins and breaking those down into fuel. With caffeine, your body's not really going to tap into fat, unfortunately, for some people. Some people try to take caffeine pills to lose weight, and if they're mostly fat, yes, they will burn that eventually. But cortisol does have that ability to start to tap into the healthy tissue reserves that you want to maintain. So that's something you want to sort of keep at bay, of course. Other things that increase cortisol levels are not getting enough sleep. I had a great recommendation from my friend Mark Handy, who I did that interview of back in the summer, or midsummer I think it was. He's the low-calorie, raw vegan bodybuilder that I talked about. It was a two-part series, and you can always just search that on YouTube and you'll have it pull up for you. But he was talking to me, and he basically just mentioned I should be getting more sleep, of course. It was probably a general recommendation, but it just sort of stuck in my mind that, yes, that's something I want to be doing more of. I've only been getting around 7 hours tops, but not really anything less than that. It's been 7 hours steady most nights, and I really want to try and get over 8 hours, so actually aim for the 9-hour mark, really, because the more sleep, the better. Obviously, past a certain point, it's going to be excessive, but to maintain this anabolic state, you have to think like a baby would, or treat yourself, or act like a baby would, because think of a baby, they're in the most anabolic state that a human is ever in. They're growing, you know, massive amounts every year, putting on tons of weight, body's growing, their muscles are growing, their bone structure is growing, but they sleep constantly, and then when they're up, they're just constantly eating. And they have intense bursts of exercise in periods throughout the day, or all at once through the day, if they're like trying to crawl around or just learning to walk, for instance. So these intense periods of exercise followed by a lot of rest, followed by a lot of nourishment, is the key to putting on weight, that's for sure. So as I go along, I always intuitively and logically pick up on these things that I'm going to improve and tweak, and I'm going to tell you guys about. So over the next week, I do intend to get more sleep every night. So I'll let you know how that goes in the next video. So yeah, on the topic of weighing myself, I'm going to do that just once a month now on the start of each month, or every 4 weeks you could simply say. So I'll do that, not next video, but the video after that, just to give an update, and that'll be very realistic as to, it'll take out the fluctuations, so to speak. So, you know, if I weighed myself this week, I probably didn't gain another 4 pounds, like I was saying in the last video, but over a month period, I think I'll probably be more than that, I'm hoping. One of the other questions that was posed to me was in regards to enzymes and the amounts I was using and how necessary they were. It's an point I really want to emphasize for any athlete, really, or specifically anyone wanting to put on muscle mass, is enzyme supplements. Although intuitively a lot of people really say, you know what, we get enzymes in raw food, or our body makes our own enzymes, we just do not need to take them in unless there's like some sort of specific health issue. Then there's the other camp that says, you know, enzymes don't do anything because if you take plant enzymes in, your body just breaks them down and they don't do anything. When it's quite obvious that they do something, because of, you know, enzyme therapy in Europe is a very active thing that doctors prescribe. They prescribe systemic enzymes in that case. Digestive enzymes are prescribed by doctors in some cases. They have a very long and rich history in natural health of being used either just basically for digestion for people who have impaired digestion, but also for just as a general daily use for those who choose to use them, because it actually helps your body use less of its own resources to break down the food. So with raw food, you're going to get enhanced absorption because it's more digestible, because doesn't have those enzymes taken away. Your body's going to have to contribute its own, and over time we do know that those levels do decrease. And also the longest lived cultures in the world do have a substantial amount of raw foods in their diet because they're aware of the benefit that these bring into the diet. But adding digestive enzymes in helps your body use even less to break the food down, because raw food generally has around 50% of its own enzyme content to break itself down. So it's not like a food is perfectly suited to completely digest itself with no work on our part or on the part of our digestive system. A food has enzymes in it so that when it starts to decay and die, it breaks down quicker. So it doesn't need to completely turn to mush the minute it dies. It falls off the tree, for instance, if it's a fruit, and, you know, starts to go rotten and soft, and gradually it starts to just break down over the course of a day or two, or even a week, depending on what type of food it is and how quickly it can break down. But enzymes do work. If you ever buy digestive enzymes, you can just simply open them over oats, for instance, and you can see, if you leave them out, that they start to liquefy, literally, in the bowl. Another interesting thing is to take, if you're one that consumes meat, is to take a kiwi or pineapple, chop it up, prepare that in some way as a dish, but then put that dish in the fridge in a container. And if you still have chunks of pineapple in there and you didn't cook the pineapple, if you kept the pineapple raw and you put that in a dish with the meat, over a day or a couple days, you're going to actually find that the meat will start to liquefy. And depending on how much of that protein digesting fruit you've put in with the meat, which can be papaya, kiwi, or pineapple, you'll notice that there's going to be a certain amount of it that's going to have liquefied in that container. So when you take something like Hippocrates Institute's Enzyme, which is a digestive enzyme, which is very high in protease and some of the other protein digesting enzymes, it's specifically tailored for the Hippocrates diet, which already is high in protein, you're going to find that if you're looking to put on muscle mass, you're not going to need as many grams of protein per day. I'm still eating more than the average person, but I'm not eating as much as someone that's trying to put on the same amount of weight as me, who's my size. So I'm probably doing a little over half of what someone would be doing in my case if they're trying to put on weight. Most people eat like 4,000 calories a day if they're doing the amount of sort of a program like I'm doing. However, I'm eating 2,500 a day, and sometimes it's a little more. Sometimes it's probably right around the 2,500 mark. I don't make sure I'm not going below that. But I take about 4 per meal if I'm eating 6 meals a day, and one of them is juice, and I don't take them with juice obviously, but I take them with everything else. So I'm trying to take 20 a day, so I can be 4 at every meal, or 5 at one, 3 at another if it's a smaller meal. And someone wanted to see the size of them. They're really just a basic gelatin capsule. So if you see that in relation to my finger, their average size capsule, I guess that's 00 capsule size. And they do have the carbohydrate and fat digesting enzymes in there as well. There's a lot of sort of chintzy digestive enzymes on the market that I've seen. A lot of the times they'll really cut down and be sort of weak in terms of their protein digesting content, or they'll be really low on that lipase or fat digesting content, because those are the pricier enzymes, whereas the carbohydrate, the amylase, and all that's quite easy to get a lot of it into a capsule. But the protease is a more expensive one, and that's the one I want the most of, so you have to be really careful about what brand it is you're getting if you're wanting to use it in a bodybuilding practice. So if you're interested in trying this one out, this is a 650 capsule bottle, so if I'm doing 20 a day, this is a month's supply. You can check out the link below if you want to grab yourself some. If you're wanting to use them therapeutically for other reasons, which is very beneficial if you're just transitioning to raw food, or you're having digestive issues you want to sort of ameliorate, you don't need 20 a day. You can just do 3 with each meal, and if you're only eating 2 or 3 meals a day, then that's only like 9, and this will last you several months. It is a large amount. They do have a smaller size, but I don't believe you can get it at the website I have. I think that's something you actually have to go to the Hippocrates Institute to get. It's only like 100 capsules or something. But this is well worth it because it's such a large amount. You can keep it for a long time. So Wade Lightheart, the creator of the program I'm following, strongly emphasizes that without taking digestive enzymes with his program, or really with any program, you're only going to get about 1/3 of the results as you could be getting, or maybe half. He emphasizes the use of a high protease enzyme, digestive enzyme that you can take as liberally as you want, as long as you're getting about 20 per day. Some people that follow his recommendations take up to 100 per day. That sounds really out there for some people, and to me it would sound that much if I wasn't familiar with the way enzymes work. However, the more is better. It's not something you can overdose on. Enzymes are perfectly safe. There's no upper limit. To a certain extent, if you have excess enzymes that you've taken in, they're going to go through your bloodstream, scavenge undigested food particles and other things, and you'd be really surprised at how much actually is sitting in your blood that you're not aware of. Having done dark field microscopy and live blood cell analysis, and had someone take my blood and show me the results on a screen, I can really see what my blood looks like, and then also having seen other people's blood through looking into that therapy, you can see that that's a common thing, is that people have undigested food circulating in their bloodstream due to a whole host of stressors on the body and other things going on. And furthermore, the protein digesting enzymes, when you get plenty of those and you finish digesting everything possible in your digestive tract, they're actually going to circulate through your blood and break down rogue scar tissue, any other sort of incompatible proteins that are actually tagged by your immune system to be taken out. But it's a lot of work for your immune system. So if you notice a baby or a child, when they get some sort of injury to their body, they heal very quickly. And then around the age of 25 and then later, the injury, or rather the healing time, slows down. And that's actually your body starting to back off on how many enzymes it's using in healing itself. This is because if your body continued at the rate of dissolving and breaking down scar tissue and fibrosis, it would actually, your body would die at the age of 40, 45, because enzymes are so key to life. If you have no enzyme activity in your body, you're done. So your body starts to back off from that, and it backs off quite dramatically the further on you get as you age, because your body wants to preserve itself. So it starts paying less attention to these scars, these achy joints, and it starts really only using those enzymes for key organ function. And then more and more that gets reduced to the point where if you get injured later on in life, it can take a very long time to heal from it. So enzymes are a great thing for any athlete to prevent injury, to maximize the amount of digestion you're getting and fuel you're getting from your food, so you don't have to overeat, overburden your whole body in that way. And also just to make sure everything that you've eaten is completely broken down to the smallest particle so that it's easily absorbed by the cells, so you don't have rogue things floating throughout your bloodstream, slowing oxygen transfer down and nutrient transfer down, and just generally giving you more energy and better functioning as a whole. So I hope that clears up some of your questions and concerns and other things about digestive enzymes. Again, that link is below, and you can also find the link below that takes you to the past videos and the page that I'm archiving all these videos on my site. And with that, I'm going to say take care and embrace life without limits.